What's going on, everybody? This is Gary B. Jr., and I am excited to tell you that we have finally made some progress discussing, determining, understanding how to navigate MIDI with FreeShow. Due to some help with some other churches, with the developer Christopher, and those on Reddit, I'm happy to report that I've been able to help develop an understanding of it. So thank you guys for your support and your help with contributing to helping me understand how MIDI works to a degree. And so I want to show you what it can do. And I'm going to start by just clicking my show that has a MIDI signal coming from FreeShow into OBS. All right, what you saw there was I simply clicked my show. It switched my scene in OBS. And I did all that because I was using a MIDI action on my actual slideshow for my intro. This is the intro to Free Show Friday, as some of you all may know. And so let's talk about what it takes for all this to work. First things first, you need to open up a program called MIDI if you have an Apple computer. And in doing so, it's going to pop up a window that looks like this. And so you're going to click on this little globe icon at the top. And when you do, it pops up the MIDI network setup. And ultimately, what I understand is you need to have two devices. You need to set up two sessions, I should say. One, I call mine's FreeShow, the other one I call MacBook. And when you do it, it's going to automatically default to make a local name, and then it's going to create a Bonjour name. And then this one, same way, it creates a local name, and then it creates a Bonjour name as well. And I customize my Bonjour name here. And then down here, this is the sessions and directories. When you click on one of these sessions that you've created, these sessions actually show your Bonjour name. What you want to do is you want to click on one of your sessions, and then it'll give you the opposite Bonjour name, and you simply click connect. All right. Same way with this one. When you click on my first session here, I can select this second Bonjour name, and I click connect. Now those two are participants on each other's network, so to say. All right. One's called Free Show, one's called MacBook. So now they can talk to each other. This is the best way I understand it, at least, right? So once I do that, I need to have Bonjour or MIDI setup open so this actually works. So I don't even close this out. And I'm trying to see, I don't even think it pops up as a icon at the top. But the next thing you do is you need to go into Free Show, and you got to go to your actions, and you can select new action, and then you're going to select this choose action, and at the very bottom there's this option called emit data. And when you select emit data, it says okay, pick an emitter. And what I've done is I've actually made two emitters um, using MIDI. Okay, and so I've got two of them already created. Now how did I create those particular emitters? Let's go back out. I'm gonna delete this and close it. On the right side, down here at the bottom of Free Show, you got this option called Manage Emitters. And this is where you would actually add an emitter, and you would pick the type. In this case, I would pick MIDI, and then you can call it whatever you want. I'm gonna call it Free Show Training. And then the output, I didn't mess with the output. Actually, what you do, I'm sorry, you would actually select which network you want to pick. So you got your network Free Show, your network MacBook, which we've actually already created in our MIDI network setup. All right. And so you want to pick which one of these you want to pick for your output. And so I picked output for Free Show, and then the type is going to be a note on. And then that's pretty much it. And then you're done creating this. So you can hit close. All right. So for the ones I've created, I've got this Free Show MIDI. This is one I've created, and I've got it on the same Free Show network. Okay. And it's going out. All right. From the Free Show network, I believe is how it works. It's coming out from the Free Show network to the MacBook network. All right. After you do that, you need to actually go into OBS. So this is kind of complicated, but this is sending a signal from Free Show using MIDI. All right. And this has a number of different applications. So I want to show it to you because of that. All right. So once you go into OBS, in this case, I'm using OBS for my live stream, and you can use any other MIDI program or platform. But I needed to go into the internet, and I had to find a MIDI plugin for OBS. I found one called OBS MIDI MG setup. And when I clicked that one, I've actually made some, they call them binding collections. And then I've got my MIDI devices showing up here, the FreeShow and the MacBook, like we talked about. They kind of create their own session, right? And then the preferences over here, you can export these or import them. And then it's got this help option and then report a bug. This is something related to the actual plugin. But over here, you can hit this plus sign if you wanted to, and you can create a new collection and click it here and then change this to be whatever you want to call it. So I can double click this and call this training test, hit enter, and then it says, okay, the device. This has to do with the device that you are, okay, that you want this to represent, okay? And so it needs to be the opposite of the device that's sending the output, okay? And then on the note option, so you got the note on, note off. Since I set mine up to be note on, we're going to keep it at note on. And then these options all represent an actual MIDI set. So the channel, the note, and the velocity. I'm going to actually select this so I can actually make these whatever I want. So I'm going to make these all fives. All right. And this is just for training purposes. You can make these whatever you want. At the bottom, it says listen for messages continuously. If I click that, it says not listening for messages, kind of disabling the network connection. And then you can make it listen for messages once to where it'll hear the message and then it's done. It's not going to hear any other messages, even if you send out messages to this channel with this note, with this velocity, or just listen continuously. All right. And then I can pick a category. So over here, I need to pick what I want this particular MIDI signal, this all five MIDI signal to do. So it gives me options for OBS, right? And then also this MIDI option here as well. All right. So what I'll do is let's do one that is, we got media sources, transitions, studio mode. Let's see. Let's do virtual camera. All right, it's going to start the virtual camera. All right, my virtual camera is right down here, and this is an all fives note on. All right, so I'm going to hit this checkbox to lock that in, and that was the Untitled 2 collection. I can click on that one and just call it virtual camera. All right, and if I were to select it to edit again, you'll see it's the training test note on start virtual camera. All right, I'm going to close that out, and I can close this. And now I'm going to go back into FreeShow. All right. Because remember, FreeShow is sending out this signal and it's talking to whoever's on the other end of this network. And I've got a bunch of these emit data options because I started creating them and never finished them. So we're going to create one here that is the all five. So we're going to edit it and emit data for sure. And then I hit this little arrow on the right. All right. And it says set a custom value. That's what we want to do. So we're going to make all these five. So I'm going to click on this, make it 5 for the note, 5 for the velocity, 5 for the channel. They're in a different order, but I know they're all fives. That's the main thing. All right. And this is from FreeShow, and it's going to go to that MacBook. All right. And then this one, I'm going to say start virtual camera. And then I'm going to hit the X. So we've now got a new action called where's it at? Start virtual camera here. And it's got this little emit data icon. It looks kind of funky. All right. But now let's go over. I'm going to see if we can show both screens and see what we got going on here. All right. So my virtual camera is inactive right now. I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to click start virtual camera. Now this should allow FreeShow to talk to OBS. So when I click this, check out what happens. The virtual camera is started. All right. And then I can, so now I'm actually using FreeShow to be the signal sender for OBS, which allowed me earlier to set up, and I'll stop this virtual camera, but it allowed me to change the scene in OBS from a free show action on the first slide of my show. All right. So it gives me that control to do so. Now, the thing about this is that I don't think it works if you close the MIDI network window. So let's verify that because I'm not completely sure. So let's go to MIDI again, and I'm going to close this, and let's see if it does it again this time. So I closed out the MIDI network configuration, and it's just got the MIDI setup or audio devices here. Okay. So let's go back here and let's hit start virtual camera. It started them. All right. That's good. So I'm going to close this window out, and we're going to keep this MIDI studio window open, and let's see if it does it. So I'm going to stop the virtual camera. We're going to click on start virtual camera in here. It did it. Okay. So I'm going to say stop virtual camera again, and we're just doing some testing now. So now I'm going to go back to MIDI, and I'm going to close out MIDI studio. All right. And let's see what happens when we go back here to see if we can start virtual camera. All right. It's still talking. All right. So I'm going to hit stop virtual camera. Let's go back and let's quit MIDI. The MIDI setup is here. I'm going to quit audio MIDI setup, and let's see if this will still work. So I'm going to come back into FreeShow, start virtual camera. It still is working. All right. So these devices are still connected in terms of they're on this MIDI network, still actively communicating for two reasons. One, because I set them up to where they're talking to each other. Two, because I set it up to where it will continuously listen for messages in this OBS action or option here. All right. So this is just a sneak peek of using FreeShow to talk to MIDI to send out a signal. All right. Later on, I'm going to be working on a video to talk about how to receive messages from MIDI into FreeShow and what'll be a good use case for that. All right. Hopefully this helps you. If you're familiar with using MIDI or you wanted to use MIDI, this is a really cool way to do it, because now if you're just one person, this is a courtesy of my man Evan, who I got connected with through Michael Bird from FreeShow. And what they helped me understand was, if you're a one-man band, you can literally use FreeShow to control your live stream in OBS by just setting up your actions here, and you can run the entire show and control when you start your live stream, when you stop your live stream, when you switch to certain scenes and all that kind of stuff by setting up these emitter actions from FreeShow with these channels, notes, and so forth and so on. And then going into OBS and setting it up to say, hey, when this happens, do this. All right. And what he did, which I thought was really cool, is he used his FreeShow to actually send out a signal to change the look of the scene when he got to a certain slide. All right. And so when he would get to a slide that he wanted to share the image on the slide, he would change the scene in OBS so you could still see the camera, but show the image in the lower corner. All right. And then the next slide, the image was gone. It was just text. He would make that convert back to a lower thirds template that he had in OBS, but he was managing it all from FreeShow. And all he did was prepare the slides to have that particular emitter action. In this case, I've got one, for example, it's called Start Virtual Camera. He might have had one that says switch to scene 2, switch to scene 3, switch to scene 4, right? And those things are really helpful, especially if you're just running FreeShow from one location or one device and you don't have any other support. Really helpful. All right. So check out FreeShow, check out MIDI and OBS and other programs that use MIDI as well, and see how you can use this to better benefit your ministry and your media setup. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you later.